It's the CPR one.
All right. Again, welcome everybody to directorywebinar.com number 24. Today we're going to talk about onboarding. The main topic we'll go over just for presentation today. And again, as usual, we can go over any particular topics or questions that you guys have, or go into looking at the directories or anything, a topic du jour that you want at any time. Again, feel free to come up on audio or video when we get to that point, or cut me off and talk about anything you want. But we're going to talk about 13 email subject categories that deliver, and we're going to give some examples of some of those that you may want to use in your emails. And again, continuing on with the onboarding discussion that we've been doing for the last couple months.
I was going to say, seems like we've been doing this forever.
It does. This is the last one, I swear. This will be the last onboarding thing, and we'll go ahead. We may poll the audience here on what we want to do for continuing on what we want to do later. But that's the one, the last onboarding thing we'll talk about for a little bit. And then we'll go from there from here. So again, I'm going to switch to the audio here in just a second. So if you want to get that ready or jump in on the audio at any time, feel free to do that. And we'll go ahead and switch over and say hi to everybody today. So again, welcome. Frank had just asked a question, and looks like I need to update my XSplit VCam. It's giving their logo for me. Frank asked a question, so Frank, I'm gonna have you ask that again, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll just share your directory, and you can go ahead and ask the question, and I'll just reference it from yours.
Yeah, I'm on the CPRclassesnearme.com, and I want to just move the homepage search box about 3/4 of an inch to the left.
Do you want me to use yours, or you want me to use that one?
Yeah, use that one if you're linked in there. I'm happy where mine is.
Okay. So what's your question again? So now that I'm here.
Let me look at your window. I just want to move I've got about 2
And I'm getting a lot of.
Oh, wait, let me see something. If I close my window. Oh, I see what the problem is. Yeah,
And again, for anybody who's new, welcome here. What we normally do at the beginning is kind of go answer some people's questions about the directory. We'll show the back end here in a second if we need to show you how to do something. And so if you have any questions, again, just jump in at the beginning here and try to answer any questions that anybody may have at the beginning of the webinar here in case you have to leave or whatever. Frank's here for the long haul, so.
So I want to move the search box a 1/2 inch to the left.
You want to move it a 1/2 inch to the left?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So actually, let me stop the share just for a second, and we'll go back to this. I got to pull up I was not logged in to my back end. Man, somebody keeps watching video. I need to figure out how to turn off these video watching. Somebody keeps opening up my videos, and it keeps popping up over the screen. So hold on a sec. There we go. So let me log into the back end here real quick. And just while I'm doing that, just for everybody, when you're talking about moving stuff around inside of the directories, there's it depends on where it's at in terms of what you can do for maneuvering it around. And so it becomes a coding thing. It's not like you can just add stuff in there or move it. Like you can't move it necessarily pixels back and forth. Sometimes you can just by adding some pixels in there. It's usually got to have something that pushes it over, right? That's also, sometimes you can add stuff in there of a transparent pixel to kind of move something over. And then sometimes sometimes you have to use the actual Bootstrap code for whatever site you are doing.
Yeah, I don't know if the text above it is in like the same container, but that needs to move with it. The headline.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to turn off my notifications for Chrome there real quick. All right, so I'm good to go. Let me go back to the share screen here. Sorry about that. I just normally have that up ahead of time, and I did not do that today. Okay, so I'm just going to use my site as the example here, and I'm going to show you guys some tricks on how to get into the particular site, aspects of your site. So one of the first things, again, for newbies who are not aware, it's always want to mention this, that if you go to your back end of your site and you click Visit Website, you're going to open up what is, I don't know if there's a proper name for it, it's admin sidebar, basically, but it's all the admin functions here. And so I'm logged in as somebody right now. So I'm going to go ahead and log out just so I can see the normal bar that's there, because sometimes when you're logged in, it turns some aspects off. And as you notice here, I do not have a search engine up here to answer Frank's question. So first off, I'm going to show you guys how to turn that on if you do not have that. Some people have it already turned off and they're like, I didn't know you could have other stuff up here in the header. So where you're going to go for that is you're going to go to the settings and design settings. And so all those design changes or whatever you want to do is normally in that design settings area. And for that one, it's basically, that is the header aspect, obviously, up there at the top. And once you get the design settings loaded, it'll have a bunch of options here for the design of that. So that is the header design. Obviously, it's in the header. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And then in here, this is where you actually turn functions on. So you have this spot right here. It's called Show Header Search. And right now, I don't have anything there. You didn't see anything. It's because I have the header hide header search. So if you do not see anything on yours and you're wondering, well, how do I get something there? It's right here. This is where you do it. And then you have a bunch of options. The main one is just obviously the type of search. There's just some form of search. The standard one that's normally there is keyword plus location. That's the one that was on the site that Frank mentioned. You can also turn it off, obviously, or you can have the new global website search or global website search plus location. I'm going to go ahead and turn that one on because it's basically that new global website search that's not only searches listings, but searches across all the different post types. So if you type in the word pizza, it's going to find pizza businesses, but also it's going to find coupons for pizza. It's going to find, articles about pizza or events that are serving pizza, for example. So it gives the universal search. So that is a new popular and favorite of mine as well, where you can search across the whole directory. So I'm going to turn that one on here in a second. But the other one that is you can show your social media links. So sometimes if you see people's Facebook, email, all that stuff up at the top, it's because they have that turned on and the show social media links. And then the other one that's kind of totally different is the hide search, show banner ad. And that will actually turn on a banner ad image there that you can, sell or advertise something else on your directory as well. So that's another option. But I'm going to go ahead and turn on that global website plus search. I'm going to go ahead and save that, and then I'll go ahead and back and refresh my home page here, and you should see that global website search plus search here in a second. It'll show up, and there it is. So now his question is, how do I get that moved over to the left? And so I'm going to go back to that little button I showed you before, the visit website, right? So when you opens up now, I should have that admin toolbar over on the side. And it only shows when you do that from the actual back end of the BD site. If you just browse to your site as logged in as the admin or something else, it's not going to show up. So this is the other thing I always want to show people about the BD website. It's this little search thing with the plus icon. It says show widgets. And that's an easy way to go find out where that's at. So you're saying, I want to edit that widget right up here. I know it's the header, right? But what widget is that? It'll actually highlight in here which ones that is. And one of the other items that people don't know sometimes, and maybe it's a little bit counterintuitive, I guess, but the red is not like a change. The red actually means it's the original widget code. And so if you actually edit any widget or change the code in there and save it as a custom widget, it's going to turn blue. And so you can see that I've already customized my header left and my header right and my header mini nav and a couple other items inside of the header main menu is edited. Everybody's should be blue for that because you change it for your requirements usually. So there's all sorts of stuff that's either blue or red depending on what you've edited. I added a testimonial custom one. I've changed that, etc. So that's how you can tell that you edited it. But it also tells you how you can get to it. And so that's the one that we want to edit. And it is the widget Bootstrap theme header right. And I'm gonna go back into my back end there and not look at the custom one because I've edited that. So I want to just look at the original code and not my edited one because that means mine's going to probably look different than yours. So it's Bootstrap theme header right. And again, in order to get to that, you just want to go to the toolbox and Widget Manager. And they have a really good search engines here on the BD site. So you can just type in right there and it'll pull up all those things for you. And there it is, the Bootstrap theme header right. But I know this is already my custom one. And if you guys aren't aware, all these ones up here at the top, doesn't have a banner really, but these are the custom ones. So anything that you've edited will be up here. All the default ones will be down here, and they're all going to be down here by default. As soon as you edit them and save something, it's going to make a copy up here and use this one instead. But it's always going to keep these other widgets down here, and it's the original widget. So if for any reason you want to get rid of that, all you have to do is delete it or disable the widget, and it'll disable basically keeps it there, but it says don't use that code, use the original. And then obviously if you delete it, there's nothing there to use and it's automatically going to use the default widget. But these are always here and they don't get overwritten, which is good because when you go edit something and screw it up, right, and want to delete it, your fail-safe default widget's always there. So that's the one. I'm going to go ahead and customize that just so I can look at it. You go Actions, Customize. And it's going to give me a warning up here at the top because it basically wants me to know that, hey, anything you do here, we already have a custom version that in there. And it wants you to edit the custom or change it to something unique before attempting to edit it again. And in fact, this is actually a new behavior. I always find these sometimes, and it's a good thing, I guess. BD's always changing stuff and improving it, but it used to allow you to open up the actual code and edit that. But it does not let you do that anymore. It's just basically saying, hey, you have that customized up here. Why don't you go ahead and edit that one? So I'm going to go, I'll just go ahead and edit this one. I don't think I have that one edited too much. So we'll see what I've got in there. And then we can kind of get to Frank's question. So hopefully that was some good overview for some of you in terms of functionality or how that works. Now, so the one thing on that, Frank, is what I was saying is it's not as easy as moving it over. You were asking if you could move it over with some CSS. Sometimes it's a coding thing. And so a lot of these can be, more complex in terms of, the actual search. But as you see here, this is where it's at the bottom here. You see this form action. Basically, that's that website search that you're doing. It has a bunch of different variables for different types. And then obviously the last thing is the, submit. And so when you're saying, hey, can we move it over? Or you kind of have to see how it's set up inside of the actual setup here. And you notice that it's really not set up to be moved over. And what I mean by that is it's not really in a div, and that's basically a section. Anytime it's in a section, you can maneuver it by itself. And that is not set up as a div. The form is inside of that entire div. So you notice here it has the div here, and it has the div up at the top. So what that means basically, and I'm just going to go back to the website again. And if you're on this and you want to close it out, you just have to hit the X to exit the admin view, and it's going to go back to the original view without all of the other stuff on there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that again and explain a little bit for everybody watching here, Bootstrap and how it works. So Bootstrap is basically a coding framework that the BD system is built or framework that's built within. and it basically divides the width of a page into 12 different segments, basically 12 columns of data, if you will. So just by looking at this one as an example, when you have 3 areas like this, it's basically breaking down that 12 columns into 3 blocks of 4 columns. Okay, if you can imagine that, a 4 of 12, 4 of 12, and 4 of 12 wide. The one up here is broken down into 2 sections. We kind of saw that earlier, the header left and the header right. And it has a header left is 5 of those 12. And you see here that this div class here, column medium 7, is 7 of those 12. It's saying, hey, for medium-sized screens is what that is. 7 of those columns basically is on the right. But it's for the whole thing. You notice the whole thing is inside of that. So to answer your question there, Frank, this basically, all of these buttons and all this stuff is inside of that one div. And these aren't really set up to move independently because they're just basically lump summed into there. And the only reason this is on a new line is because it's too fat to fit on that one line that's in there. So in order to move just the search over, you can embed.
Now,
yeah, go ahead.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about the same search?
You're talking about this one up here, right?
No, the one that goes over the image, your header. That one.
This is not the header. Okay, this is the one you're talking about?
Yeah, but yours is horizontal, mine's vertical. If you look at the CPR, you'll see what my problem is. Okay.
Well, it all, I guess, applies to that as well. It's the same concept. So bottom line is you can only move those divs. So basically you can change you can move that entire div over, for example.
Right.
If it's 7, you can make that 6, right? And you can actually add another div over here, like a blank one,
right.
That is 1 wide, and it would push all of that over because you got to kind of have 1/12 of it over here and sitting over there. So that's how you would do that. So this is not that's the header. This is just the main search area. So let me go back and ask your question again. So your question is on this main page search. Again, this one still applies to it. So using this 12. This whole width across here for that, when you go into the code for this particular search blocks, it is set up as a column medium 6 by default, meaning it's only covering half 6 of the 12 widths for that search engine. So your question again, Frank, is I apologize. Go ahead and repeat the question now that we're kind of zoned in on that.
All right, the search box and the headline above it, I'd like to get moved at least 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch would be better, from touching the photo on the right side.
Okay. So
now I have a workaround. I could just put a yellow strip in 1/4 inch of the image and that would fix it. But
yeah. So here's a couple items that you can do for this. And it actually involves an option that they just turned on. So Let me show you where that's in my back end, and then you can go ahead, if you have access to this, go do that on yours after I explain the other option. So this one's 6 wide, so we can just go into this particular search, do that same technique, find that search box, whatever that type is, go to that particular widget, and then change that 6 for that entire container basically to a 5. Right. And then it's going to be 1/12 more to the left.
Right.
Because it's not 6 wide anymore. It's 5. Right. So that'd be one way you can do that.
And that would be
the other option. Okay. So that's probably what I'm going to recommend doing there. And we've done that before. It just kind of moves it over a little bit. The other thing is this is as far left as you're ever going to get because BD has basically this side padding on either side. You notice it over here. You notice it over here. That's as firewalled left as you have because it's just that's the end of the width basically. So they just added a new option in there to make it just a little bit wider. I think it goes from he said on the webinar last night. I think it was like make it out to 1420 wide instead of the normal width. And I'm just going to demo this on mine to show everybody what this does. So you see, every one of these websites has the same thing. It's got the strip of stuff on the right, and the left. And what they added in there, because people were asking, well, why can't I go full width? They don't really have a full width option in BD. You can get rid of the basically the head or the body wrap basically, and then add some space back in a little bit when it does go full width. But obviously, it looks really ugly when you don't have the sidebars there and it's full width and the text is like a little bit away from the edge of the screen. So they now have this new one. This is brand new as of I think yesterday or a couple of days. This website body width. So everybody's is always going to be on standard and default, and this may fix your problem, Frank. I'm not sure because you have to look at it. I haven't seen the difference, but you go from standard to extra wide. And so I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna go back to the home page here. I'll leave this one as the old one, and I'm going to go back to the home, and I'll refresh this one. You can kind of see the difference. What it's basically going to do is expand out so that you have a little bit less space on the side. So now my site is almost full width now, right? I don't have that end stuff, and it causes a couple different things. Obviously, everything, because these are all set at certain widths of the 12, right? This is 3 3/12, 3/12, 3/12. The 3/12s just got a little bigger. Yeah. So now all the images are a little bit bigger, and everything looks just a little bit more blown up and expanded than it used to.
Yeah, but that didn't fix my problem.
That didn't?
No. The original thing you talked about is what's going to be needed.
Okay. So, yeah, I wasn't sure. But, again, it's still using 612, so it's still going to be up at the photo. Right now it's just taking over that extra spot, but it still goes all the way to the photo is probably what it's doing.
Yeah.
And then it probably messes up the photo as well, depending on that. But so now you guys can see that one, vice the original, right? And then sometimes it's kind of you don't realize what you miss until it's gone. But sometimes for most viewings, you look at that and you're like, whoa, it's too crowded. Like it's over near the edge. It's too wide. I got to scroll back and forth on my head. Like it just looks too. There's not enough white space, right? And so that's kind of what that provides. It just provides that little bit of clarity around everything. And sometimes, for most presentation purposes, that you're not going to want to go wide. But some people may want that particular look.
Yeah. So theoretically, this can't be fixed even the other way because it's already butted to the left, as far left as you can go. I'm going to have to just put a colored stripe down the image to match the background of the box.
No, you should be able to get rid of it. Did you already change it to a 5?
No, I can't. I don't remember where that was in. That was in
okay.
Widget Manager.
Yeah, you just want to find out what so in the actual Widget Manager, yeah, you just want to find that those websites or those widgets in order to edit and all those homepage search on there. I think it's just homepage. If you search for homepage.
Well, you didn't tell me, but you told me you can do a collage. That's kind of cool, like a year in review. Yeah. That's what a lot of people do or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Hold on, let me mute Rich there. Sorry about that.
What is
just type homepage search, and then you just type in homepage, and then you can find the one that you're using. So if it's sub location, sub location, whichever one you're using. Obviously, that's why I would always recommend clicking the go to website, visit website, and then do the little search plus icon. Figure out which widget that is. And let me just do an example of that. And I didn't do this last time, but if you actually click on the actual widget name, it'll open right up into the editor in your back end. So it's a really nice, convenient way for you to go find that particular search result. If you click on this again, the plus icon, it'll come up with those options here. And then you just click on that red search or the actual name of the search widget, and it'll actually open up in the back end for you to edit. And again, be cautious about editing that stuff. Obviously, you can always revert back, but so I'm using the global website search. If you click on that, there's the homepage search like we're talking about. Just click on that. It's then going to automatically open up into the back end for you to start editing the code. If there's a couple that are like this one's global website search plus location, it's basically telling me, hey, I've got a couple options. This is the one I was using. I think website plus location, I believe. And so whichever one, nope, I was just using the global website. So then you just go actions, customize, and if there's only one, it'll automatically open up in there for you, and then you can go ahead and edit that from there.
I think mine.
And so this one's 12, right? So it's the wide one. It uses that one, and some of them have two. Like if this one's a vertical, if it's a horizontal, it's 12, and then further on down here usually is the the other segments. If it's not a full width one, see how this says column medium 6. That's the vertical one. Is basically saying, hey, this one is 6 wide. And so for you, Frank, look for that one further on the page. This is the horizontal one, and there's another one. If you pick a vertical or vertical, then do only half, and you're going to want to change that medium to a 5.
Let me search for medium.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop share here, go back here. So welcome. I know Rich jumped in here, so welcome. Esther, welcome. Again, if you guys have any questions, I'll open it up to you while Frank's looking at that. If anybody else has any questions while we're waiting on that or any of the topic sets, go ahead and jump in either in the chat or audio and ask your question. So I know Jeremiah, hope you're having a great lunch. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. And Esther, let me know if in the chat there, if she's wondering if we're supposed to be able to see my screen. Were you guys seeing my screen as I was walking through there? Frank?
What's that?
Did
Yeah,
you? Oh, okay, great.
I was seeing your screen. Now I see you.
Oh yeah, because I
The screen was much preferred.
Yeah, I apologize. So Kurt wanted to know the best way to communicate with me during the week, and so let me switch to that screen share here again. Now you guys can see my screen, right? I just want to make sure, because Esther was saying she was having a problem. We're good, Frank?
Not yet. It says will be displayed.
Oh, it will be. All right, I guess I closed it down. Technical difficulties. There we go. All right. So Kurt wanted to know how to get hold of me. Obviously, I'm on Messenger, in the forums or whatever, so you can reach me there. If for some reason you need to get a hold of me or book a session for consulting or whatever, you can just go ahead at the bottom on my directorytoolkit.com. You can book a consultation here to go to the main site to get a bunch of different options, or it's just right down here at the bottom of the page. And then you can just go ahead and grab a time to create a Zoom room to consult with me. Other than that, if you want to just email me at support@directorytoolkit.com, that is an option as well. And then obviously just through the forums, I'm all over the place on there. You can just grab my name on Messenger and send me a message as well to get a hold of me. So hopefully that answers your question. But I did have, some people have asked, like, oh, I didn't know how to get a hold of you, but I am pretty much everywhere on there, and also have the chat on the website as well, depending on which page you're on. So, and then obviously you're on a BD site, right? So you can go to any page and contact us, or I guess contact me on any page here as well. And you can just go ahead and send me an email there as well, and I'll get that. But the best thing probably, if you know you want to have a discussion about something, is go ahead and book a time on the calendar that's free for me and free for you, and you'll get an automated Zoom meeting with the link there on the time. Get a reminder to your text message on your phone, and then we can go ahead and have a meeting. Did that work, Frank?
I can't find the right. There's just too much there for me to.
Okay. That's fine. So we'll go there. Obviously, that some stuff has customizations, right? As everybody knows. So we can try to teach you where that's at, but sometimes people can't figure it out, and that's what I'm here for. So Frank, we'll get you straightened out once I get the login for that a little bit later.
You're already you're in that panel.
Am I? I don't know if I was. I don't know if I was still in there.
I saw you today. You're in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get that after we're done here. I just don't want to log off of mine to have to log back in. It takes me about 5 minutes to log back in on mine. So
like I said, I may just do the photo. It might be easier.
Yeah, if that's what you want. So
yeah.
All right. Let's see. So Jeremiah's asking if you. So I do free consultations. So if you just want to chat to see what we can do, just go ahead and book a time there on that site there, and that is free for that. Just for the consultation to kind of talk about where we need to go. If we actually have to action stuff, want to be a client or whatever, then we can get you set up and we can have that discussion when you call on how that works. And then Jeremiah's asking, besides switching different homepage layouts manually, is there an easy way to see all of the homepage layouts to choose from without switching to them first? So that's kind of a loaded question there, Jeremiah. When you say, hey, what's all the homepage layouts? Like BD is still customizable. You could probably have 1,000 permutations of what the sites look like. I could bring you to 10 different sites on BD now, and they look all different, right? Because there's so many different streaming widgets you can have for a particular directory. So let me just go to that as an example here real quick on the front end. Let's say I was doing my actual design settings here for the homepage. We'll just kind of go over here for anybody who doesn't know that you can do this or this is how it works. Let's kind of go over the homepage options here. We kind of went over all the different search things on the header, right? And you have the same big laundry list of different search types that you can have on the main homepage search. But if you go on the settings and design settings, and once you're there to the homepage tab, you have this thing called the homepage section order. And this basically is a never-ending list of different segments that you can add in there for your homepage section order, and you can have a bunch of different sections, and each one of those sections can have any one of these types of streaming items, right? And it can be in any particular order that you want. So it basically is all the permutations of all of these streaming widgets in any order, right? So they're all going to be in different orders. You can make each one look a little bit different, right? So in terms of having 2 wide, 3 wide, some of these actually have sidebars in there, so you can put different content inside of the sidebars. And then every website has this thing called the custom homepage content, right? And so that's just a blank slate where you can put any type of widget or any type of content you have in there. So the sky's the limit on there. If it's HTML content on the internet, it can be on there. And so that basically can change up the entire look of the homepage depending on what HTML contents you have on in there. So long story short, I kind of get your question in terms of, what are the different options? The best, but there's so many different variations that it would be impossible to do well. One thing you may want to do is go to the Brilliant Directories support site, and I'm just gonna paste this into the chat here, so you guys have this available real quick, and you guys can go visit that here in a second. But one of the things that they do well, I think, is in terms of the types of search. So I don't know the best thing to look for. Let me maybe find it. Out of my search module as a custom homepage content. How to add custom content to your homepage. Let's see, homepage displaying top categories. Anyway, so a lot of these have in the search modules, they'll have they'll go through all the different settings and they'll kind of show you what different options are in there. And so the best thing I can say is kind of start looking for stuff in the search of what you want of the layout, and it'll give examples like this of images. And so you can kind of see, well, if I do the hide search module, but I turn on the buttons right in the homepage search settings, I can actually add in 3 buttons in the top there instead of a search. And they'll have examples for that. Let me see the admin menu. Here's a good example where they kind of step you down through all the different admin buttons. And you can kind of, go through on how to do particular items for the different objects there, and they kind of walk you through different homepage settings. And one of the best ones, let me see if that wasn't it. It was the dashboard overview, right? So you can kind of go down all the different, things on the dashboard, right? When you go in there, and then it kind of just walks you down each one of these particular settings. And so if you kind of walk through or whatever you're kind of worried about here, it'll help walk you through in terms of the content managing posts is where we're at, or the web page builder, leads, finance, emails, etc. And so then it gets down into the obviously settings and then design settings. So obviously there's 48 articles in here. So that's where you kind of get into the homepage look. And then it basically just adds in all of these different options that you can do there. And some of these videos actually show you how to, change the search module. And there's a lot of these that have those help images in there. Search layouts, the difference between those 3, editing the padding on the searches. And I think there's probably one in here for the actual search types. I won't go through all these, but there's a lot of content in here. So if you have not gone here and perused that, it's something to good to go look at. And I do know that there is one that goes through all of those different designs. There's header design, etc. But you guys get the point. There's a lot of stuff in here. Show header search, homepage search settings. Okay, so let me just go to that. So you can replace the image, do the overlay. So here's how they talk about the alignment. You can go left, you can go right. Here's horizontal. You can change the padding. You can, change the sidebar alignment. So there's a couple different examples, what you can do. And so again, they literally kind of show you what you can do, turn on, turn off stuff, make stuff invisible, change the picture, change the overlay, how to change the photos. So again, a lot of good stuff in here. That may be something that we can do just with the basic search engine blocks. Just kind of have an article or a page with all the different types of search options. And again, I think that's in here somewhere, but maybe not as readily available as you want. So just type in the relevant search engine request there, and you may be able to find it for you. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I know there's just a lot of search articles on here, but it really is sky's the limit in terms of the amount of things that are in there that you could find. So Jeremiah's asking a question about Facebook groups. If you guys were on the webinar Wednesday last night, I did kind of talk about this very briefly. But social integration with an established list is definitely a way to monetize the directory or to get instant traffic. We do have a lot of directory owners that have a large Facebook or Instagram following. And when you do, it's a lot easier to monetize that because you have a traffic. I mean, it just equated to an email marketing list that you have a lot of people on. And if you have a big email list, it's easier to make money because you can tell them about your directory, right? And so same thing for the directories. If you have that, then you can do a lot with that in terms of monetizing because you can kind of get some instant traffic. His question is more, though, I guess, in terms of going up to, let's say you don't have any traffic. You go to your Facebook group and there's 5 people in it, right? But somebody else in your area that does not have a directory has 20,000 Facebook group members. So his question is, can you, or do you know anybody who's done that, who's basically gone up to them and approached them and said, hey, you've got the Facebook following, I've got a directory, let's combine those powers and make it happen. So I've talked to that with several people. I don't know if anybody off the top of my head that has actually implemented that, but I definitely recommend doing that if you don't want to take the slow roll, right, to get that, because you're going to have to, it's basically like a venture capital thing, right, or a VC, or they're going to have to give them something in response to their traffic, right? So sometimes you do that, set up an affiliate code for all of your listings, right? So if they sell anybody from them providing the link in there, or hyping you up, or providing that, anybody who does sign up for a particular period of time, they would normally get a larger proportion of that than a normal affiliate fee, right? Because you're basically borrowing a ladder, basically, or borrowing all their traffic, and they want to make sure it's worth their cause. Again, they may not be that greedy, or may not know about that, and they may just simply asking them, and they're like, yeah, let's do that, and you have an offer that you can make to them, so you're not blank staring when they say what's in it for me. You got to kind of have that with them thing in your back pocket that you can provide for them. But maybe they're just willing to do it to get the extra traffic. So I definitely do that, but you got to pick it wisely. I mean, you're not only bringing them on board as kind of a partner, or just as part of the group, but they're doing the same thing for you. So they want to know who you are. Just make sure you have that ready to go. Like why they want to trust you, because a lot of those people that have those kind of big groups, they get this all the time. They probably get more people than you realize coming up to them and asking them to advertise something, for them to push a product or endorse something, right? And so they don't just willy-nilly do that, because they're putting their whole reputation on the line. I mean, they've probably taken years to build up that Facebook following. They just want you just rolling in and presenting a product that's going to upset the people that they'll have a bad experience with, and now they're not trusted by anybody in their particular niche or area anymore either, because you let them down or whatever. So sometimes a lot of those people are wary of that. Usually, if it's something that you're already involved in, like if you pick a niche and you actually do know somebody and they know they just don't know that you have a directory or that you started it new, but they kind of know who you are. That is obviously a little bit easier if you can do that. But I would definitely try to do that, but just have those couple things in your hip pocket. Know what you're going to offer them. Have a pitch basically of what you can provide them. Know how much you're willing to give them, right? So you're not kind of at a disadvantage and kind of give away the farm if they say no. Because sometimes there's some other alternate group that you can kind of play off from too. And like, oh, you're John's Pizzeria. I'm talking to Jane's Pizzeria as well. Whoever, if she gets back to me, and may just go with her. I mean, you don't want to be vindictive about it, but you can kind of say you're shopping around, kind of looking for somebody who wants to partner in or go in with you on that, and it may make them a little bit more amenable to working with you. So anyway, definitely would advise you doing that, and it can be really helpful. Again, just initial traffic. I definitely always have a time phase when you want to do that set up too. You want to be able to monetize the traffic. And I talked about this a little bit last night. You don't want to not have the what happens when I get them in the funnel at the end, not have anything for them there. You want to have that solid. So when you get all that jump of traffic, you can action it. Like they have the purchasing parts ready. You got the email trail ready to send out to them. You have the onboarding process ready, so you can get them involved, and you don't want to lose traction for that initial thing. Because depending on how they want to do it, it may be a one-off thing, right? You're in their newsletter for the next week, right? And then you're not after that, and you can't be like, okay, well, thanks for the shout out last week. Got a bunch of visitors. I didn't convert them because I wasn't ready. Can we do another shout out? Then they want to know that you're ready to perform on the other end as well. So make sure you have all that stuff in. Definitely do that. And if you're going to try to get that traction, do it at key times when you're ready to launch a new product or launch a new part of your directory, or have an additional plan that you want to sell. So definitely have it there for a particular purpose, so that you have a kickstart of traffic around a specific requirement or need. Yeah, so he's asking about SEO, helping that out with SEO in terms of traffic. Obviously, it's going to help you out with traffic. You want usually the only things that happen, it can actually hurt you as well. SEO, Google knows how long they've spent on the website as well, right? So when they click a link or they do a Google search, when they get on there, they kind of know how long people are on there before they bounce. And so, again, if you don't have the content ready, or if it's not geared towards the audience, or if they don't know what to do on after the first page and they're kind of stuck and they bounce off your page, it's actually going to hurt you, because Google's going to be like, wow, look, they got all that traffic and everybody that went to the page bounced within 30 seconds. It's obviously not anything there that they're interested in, not high value content that it seems like everybody doesn't think it's good. We're not going to put it as high in our search results. So you got to be wary of that as well. Time dwell on the site is a factor as well for that SEO that you want to think about. And again, yeah, Rich, welcome. If you want to jump in, obviously turn your mic on anytime. I muted you there for a second while I was talking for the background stuff, which is fine. So it's always good. We're talking about, having them monetize their Facebook group, right? Is, providing your directory as a way to monetize their group. And again, that is very good. And you just want to make sure that you can perform on that end and make sure that they get the money. And obviously a lot of times people are like, anything hands off that they can do and get money just by clicking a button or promoting you and getting some money kicked back from you, and they don't have to do anything. I mean, that's kind of an easy proposition to sell in theory, right? So it kind of just comes down to the pitch and make sure that you can deliver on that. And as soon as they see the money coming in for affiliate fees, if you have that set up, and they see that coming in, obviously people are always more inclined to recommend something that they're getting a kickback from if it's working, right? If you never see any result from that. And it's the same thing from your website, right? For you guys, if you provide leads to people and they make some money from your website, you don't think they're going to come back? You don't think they're going to tell other people about it or give a good testimonial? They are, right? But if they're not getting that initial leads or not getting that stuff, then they're not, or even worse, they're going to say something negative. So that's why it's always, and we're talking about onboarding, right? You want to make sure that people get on board, get some initial quick and easy wins in order to keep them on the website. So that's why you want to have that onboarding process, and that's why we've been going over that the last few weeks. Just another question, just going down here for Jeremiah. He's been saying a question that's been on his mind for the forums, that you can set the members to pending review for the admin to view the lead and to make sure it's not spam before it gets to the member, which is true. There's basically, I think we went over this a couple weeks ago. There's 3 settings. You can have it automatically post automatically. And let me go to the back end here and show you guys where that is at and where his question is. In the finance and membership plans, there for every particular membership plan, this can be different for each membership plan. So let me do my supporter membership here. Let me go in there, and you can do it differently for each particular membership group. What you can do is set up in the sign up settings here. These go hand in hand with the email templates usually, and the after sign up set account status as, and this is his question. You can set it up as active account, inactive account, just to verify their email, or on hold and requires admin approval. So you can kind of do this for this one automatically gets posted. They don't have to do anything. This one is inactive. It shows inactive on your members list until they click that email to basically verify that they're a human, a real account, etc. And then they automatically go active. And then the on hold requires admin approval. Doesn't matter what they do. It's just going to go on hold. And then until you say, yep, you're approved, then they finally go active. So those are the 3 options. And then you can do the similar thing for all the post types, where you can say, hey, it posts immediately. You can have the member control whether they post it or not. So like show it or don't show it. Or you can not give them that ability. And then the other one is hold it for admin approval. And you can just hold a post until they're there. So sorry, I did not switch to content on there.
Ryan?
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I just got a Skype call coming in I got to take, but I'll be back.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So sorry about that. I didn't switch to the content here. So again, this is in the finance membership plans and signups and upgrades. It's down here in the signup settings, and these are the 3 settings right here. The after signup, sorry, I was talking about. I apologize, I did not switch over to the screen here. So that's what we're talking about. And so his question is, let's see. It says, can they be set to be pending review for admin to approve the lead to make sure it's not spam before it gets sent to the member, even when the form is on the member's profile? So I assumed that you were talking about the actual sign up or the post. And so his question, apologize, is the lead setting. So this is what it's basically saying is when you hold it for admin approval, that is for everybody, where it basically does not get approved. And so let me go into that real quick on the lead settings. And this is where you set those settings. Depending, most everybody has a default lead settings in here for the default actions. So you just want to go ahead and hit edit in here, and this actually changes some aspects on the form. So the way the get matched forms is what this uses. It has widgets inside of the form, and these settings actually control the widget. So unlike other form fields, this one actually controls the on or off or view or not view for a bunch of stuff inside of those actual listings. And so one of the things that he's asking about is automatically match leads to qualified members. If you have yes, it's automatically going to send those out. And so if you want to manually review those, you want to set that to no, so that it just not automatically match. And then you're basically going in here to the manage leads and manually matching them on their own, so that they don't have to, they won't get that automatically. And so that's the key there. And then he was asking the question about off page versus on page. Let me just go over into that real quick. There are 2 types of leads inside of the system. There is a direct lead, which is when the get matched form is on a particular member's page. So for example, when I go to a member's page on here, and I go to, let me go to Frank's blog posting product here. So if you're looking for any article writing, I think it's 8 cents a word. He'll write anything that you want for blog post or article writing. So I'm going to go to his, thing right here, and see how it says contact this member. That is a direct lead. When I click on that, it's going to open up the form. This is the get match form, but it is going to him specifically. You also have the option of turning this on, where I can also send it to other people, but you can turn that off, obviously, just so that's not there. So if I click contact this member, it goes straight to that person. But it's going to add this in here. However, if I have it set where it does not auto match, it is not going to go to him. But that is the direct leads portion, and you can set that for them. Not only does it not get matched, right, but here in the direct leads, it says should they receive direct leads immediately. And so it says right here, if it's yes, when a lead is submitted through a member's profile page, the lead will be sent to the member immediately. If no, the administrator of the site will have to review the lead and then manually match it to that member. So again, you can set it up to not auto match generically, or you can just say, no, do not receive direct leads immediately. So if I even send it off from here from the page, they are not going to get it. Okay. Even if it's not going to tell them like, we are not sending this to your person. We are going to look at, they don't know that. It's just going to send it, but it does not go directly to them unless you have this set as yes. And then the other part of that is the indirect lead. And that is if you just go to the, if you link to, or just have the form, the get matched form, the generic, find somebody, contact somebody form that could be in the sidebar of a particular search page, or just, connect thing. This is an indirect lead. It's not on somebody's page. The system doesn't know who this is. It doesn't have that also ask other people, because it has to ask other people because it doesn't know who you're talking to specifically. That is the indirect leads on there. And so I think that was his question on that. And that answers his question. Rich is asking, I don't know if Rich, are you up on comment? I guess you can just ask it if you want, but otherwise I'll just read it here. Do you want to keep the members on the directory site versus moving them over to Facebook? Obviously a lot of directory owners have a large Facebook group, and so he wants to know what the thought process is on that. The problem with obviously BD is it's not a forum, right? I know Frank is big on forums, loves forums. You can add a forum to a subdirectory or just onto your page if you want. You can't install the forum page on your main BD site, and the cPanos they want to keep all that separate. You can't really install that on there. You can put on a subdirectory though, and definitely have your own forum. You can do a forum on another page and just link to it, kind of keep them in your sphere of influence. The only problem with that is really BD didn't really have a forum, right? If they want to chat back and forth, it doesn't really have that capability. It's got one-on-one chat messaging back and forth, right? But it's not a community page. One thing that they have done, and I want to mention this one because this is fairly recent, that they've added this one in there. They do now have the comment section there. So if you have the actual paid add-ons in here, in the content section, you will have an option for post comments. And this is a new add-on. And what this basically does is it adds a comment section or thread in there. It allows you to have a question and answer on a particular page. And so let me use this as an example. This one kind of came up on one the other day, and I answered it back. But as I just turned this one on, but what it kind of makes a threaded Facebook type thing on a particular post. It's not like Facebook groups exactly, but if you could post a topic set, like a question as an article, but it could just be the question, and then everybody can kind of comment back and forth on the thread like you would have in a forum just on your own directory. And so if there's a way to execute that you want to keep it local, you can kind of do a forum type thing with this. And so let me just show you what it looks like on here. This was a question on the frequently asked questions product that I have available on directorytoolkit.com. But it looks like this in here, where the comments, and it just adds the number of comments that are in here. I'm allowed to see my comments, but otherwise, if I want to join the conversation or add a comment, you have to actually log in. So it gets people in here to be able to comment. And then I did this one as an example as well to kind of show you the difference of the new BD one versus something else. So a lot of people use maybe discuss. I've got Facebook comments logged in here as well. This one just is a demo of kind of comparison of what it looks like. So this one's native to BD now. You don't have to add in another script. But this is what the Facebook comments plugin looks like, and they can just add comments. The advantage of the Facebook thing is it automatically posts that to their profile because they're posting it as themselves. So there's various areas inside of Facebook that allows them to see the comment structure. But it's using that plugin. Obviously, it has Facebook written all over it. It's using my Facebook logo. It pulls that automatically, so that's one good thing. It is a little bit harder to implement. This one's just automatic. It's got the number of comments. It allows them to log in and kind of uses their own profile picture, again, kind of automatic like Facebook does if I'm logged in. And then allows you to have threaded discussions. So that's the kind of comparison a little bit between the two. And so, again, you could just imagine this was just a short snippet of a question or a post. And then everybody can just comment back and forth and threaded campaign, kind of like what you would do in Facebook as well. So to Rich, your question, I mean, is it advantageous to keep them on your directory? I guess if you have enough traffic on your directory, this becomes more tenable to keep them on there. Really, the thing about Facebook is just the sheer numbers, and it is what it is, right? Everybody's there. And you have a large audience. And so it's a little bit easier to maybe pull them away from Facebook and use your directory or provide the leads from your directory to your Facebook group or vice versa than it is to kind of create another entire Facebook on your own directory portal and try to replicate that, because obviously it's going to be really hard. And there are just other capabilities. The good thing about the Facebook group too is you can advertise to the Facebook group as well, because it kind of has the Facebook advertising built into there, and it kind of knows who's in your group, and you kind of have the personas, and you can actually one of the things, and we're not really going to go into that this week, but in terms of the pixels of knowing who's in your group, you can actually start creating. Again, if your product's more generic, that could go to not only your audience, but go to other people like that audience. They're able to get a persona of who is already in your directory, who already participates, and you can just tell Facebook, hey, go find other people like that are not in the group and go send ads to them as well, and you can advertise your directory that way as well. So there are some advantages to Facebook just with that new chat or custom comments thing in there that BD opened up. You kind of have some more options there, at least availability wise, in terms of what you can do with your own directory without having to use Facebook. But okay, Rich is asking a question on if we recommend using the feature for members that have only entered their email and no other information to make their account inactive, so it's not viewable on the site until they create a full profile. So a couple items on that, Rich, and just for everybody else who does not know that this setting is there. Inside of your advanced settings, there actually is a built-in advanced setting to do that automatically outside of the email registration. I think you can just type in profile and it should be able to find that. And it's right here. Just type in profile or complete. That's probably better. So just type in complete. There you go. Type in the word complete. Here's the setting that you need. Settings, advanced settings. Just type in complete. So this says require a complete profile. So you can turn this on or off. And so if it's on, if I turn that on and save it, it's only gonna display members in search results who at least have and here's the restrictions: a name or company name, a top level category, a profile photo or logo, and an actual address. So there's no, maybe it would be cool if they kind of add onto this where you can kind of select which ones you want as a requirement in order to show. Because I had some people who are like, well, a lot of my stuff is online. They don't have an address. A lot of times they're missing that, but I still want them to have a photo, whatever. It's not customizable like that. It's just all four of those are nothing. And so you can basically restrict that. That may be one way that you want to do that, to require complete profiles. The other option, obviously, is to, like you're saying, only restrict those people if they haven't gone in there and added a photo, for instance, or if they haven't added their own stuff. Go ahead and turn them to inactive until they do that. And so it's kind of up to you in terms of your process, excuse me, and how you do that. Maybe give them, don't, if they sign up immediately, don't just as soon as you get pinged that there's a new person, go log in, see they don't have a logo, and then inactivate their listing or whatever. Maybe you want to give them a day or two, but after they don't, sign up, then you turn them off and just kind of weed them out that way. One of the things that you could do as well, we went over this in the webinar last night with Jason as well. But in the members, search members area, there's a lot of filters that you can do in here. And I didn't save that, but that's fine. There's a lot of settings in the search that you can do to filter out people, make a smart list, maybe find some people to action. But let's say you just want to, maybe this is a once a week or once a month action. Let's just say, hey, I'm gonna scrub last week's people, right? So I'm going to do signups last week, and I'm just going to search. All right, and maybe this is a once a month, once a week thing, but you just kind of say, hey, people that joined last week, and I don't have anybody last week. Let's say again, just imagine that this was the full list, right? You can now just delete those here and get everybody back. But let's say I got this one, and you have that full list of individuals again. And maybe once a week, you find the people from last week or last month or whatever, and just go through. And if they are not completed the profile like this one, this is a great example there. Let's say this one just says member, right? let's say that they haven't filled out their profile, they haven't had their name, there's no address here, there's no member stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and inactivate all of these people, and go ahead and do that. And then maybe you have it set up with an email template that you have a smart filter of inactive people, right, that joined from last week. Now maybe you have that join date range, and then you have an account status type of not active. And so you have that smart list, and then maybe you send a newsletter or an email to everybody who joined last month or last week who I have marked as not active, or maybe on hold. Maybe change them to on hold. Whatever that smart list is, you come up with that list of people. You then go here, create a smart list out of that. Now you have that group of people, and then you can go into your email and your smart lists, and you can actually send a newsletter to those specific people in there. And then maybe you send them a newsletter to say, hey, notice you haven't been able to complete your profile. To maintain quality for the website, we've gone ahead and put your listing on hold. But if you're interested in, getting your profile up to speed, feel free to do that, or contact us here to let us know if you're confused about something. We want you to have a complete profile, et cetera, and then you can get them on the phone and maybe try to upsell them or sell them something else or upgrade them in the package or just help them out, right, to finish their profile. But you're basically keeping them on hold and letting them know that they're going to remain that way unless they fill out their profile. And then, it's kind of the onus is on them at that point because you've kind of notified them. But then your address gets, cleaned up. And then maybe you do a follow-on thing, maybe once a month or once a year, that you go back and give everybody that one last chance, and say, hey, everybody who's joined in the last year that is still on hold, I'm going to send out an email to them for the last year, last month. Maybe you do that first one every week, but you do this one every month where you send it out to them and like, hey, notice you haven't, replied or filled out your profile, from the previous, email. We'd like to get you signed up to, here's a 20% off discount to fill out your profile. And then if you don't get back to us, or you're not going to be an active an account, we're going to go ahead and remove you from the system just to keep our the system efficient, or whatever you want to say in the thing. And kind of now you're interacting with it again, give them a discount, and then if they don't reply back, they're not part of your directory. They're not playing, and then you can just clean them up and remove them from your database there, so they're not taking storage. They're not confusing your database here and making it confusing. And again, that's just one option, right, that you can do. But this search engine does a lot of things that you can do. Filter out, get a list of people you want to do, create that smart list, be able to send emails to them at a later point, and actually action those particular members that you have in your directory. All right, I think that's all the questions there. Kurt, do you have something? I know you just came up on audio there, but do you have a question, or did that answer or anything that you had? All right. Rich, any other questions from you? No, you had a bunch of questions in there. All right. Well, let me go ahead and just go into the presentation for today then. And again, if anybody has any questions on the presentation here as we go, just let me know, and I can go ahead and stop and address those. But today we want to talk about the onboarding 13 email subject categories that can deliver. And we're going to talk about onboarding today. And these may be good for onboarding, but it's just good for any email marketing stuff that you guys may have. Maybe some good examples that you guys want to use for any emails that you guys are doing for your business. Could be the transactional emails, could be the any particular other emails that you're sending out. Could be actually web page copy for the title for your particular landing pages, perhaps. I mean, it doesn't have to be, the title of an email is kind of like a title of a web page in some regards. So maybe some stuff that you want to use on here for landing pages as well, but hopefully you guys get some stuff out of that today. I just want to kind of go over some of the an overview of subject lines in general. Sometimes people wonder for email onboarding or emails, like what do people normally get for open rates on average or typical click rates? And obviously, this varies depending on what you're doing or exactly what's happening. If they're expecting an email from you, like you just sign up and they get an email, there's a higher open rate for those, right? Because they just did something. They're always expecting an email, and the rates are a lot higher as opposed to an out of the blue stuff that they signed up for a newsletter 5 months ago. We're not expecting anything. You haven't been sending an email for the last 4 months, and then all of a sudden you start sending an email that they're not expecting necessarily. That's going to have a lower rate, obviously. So this is just a typical open rate. Still a large range here, right? But just for your typical range, 10 to 30% open rates for any particular email that you send. And then a typical click rate for, again, this is for any particular link. So if you have multiple links or click-throughs or whatever, it may increase it a little bit. But generally 1 to 3, maybe 5% is usually kind of the norm for the click rate on emails that are, that you send out, that you get a typical click rate for. So this is why they always say, hey, repetition is always good just to stay top of mind, but also because knowing that only 10 to 30% of them are even going to be opened. It's maybe not that they don't care about what's in the subject or that they wouldn't normally open. Maybe it was a busy day. It gets buried below the fold. And this is the case for me. If it's not something that they are expecting or know they immediately need, they may like it and they may actually get to it later, but it's not of critical need for them. So it just goes below the fold. Maybe it gets moved into their archive and it's sitting there, but it will never get looked at. So you got to continually send stuff, stay top of mind, keep getting them in their inbox. It's part of the reason why yours is going below the fold is because other people are sending continual emails to their inbox, right? And so it's actually a problem that causes the problem that if all your competitors or other people are sending emails a bunch of times and repopulating their inbox, theirs is continuously in there because they keep sending more. Yours is not because you sent one. And it's down at the, below the fold in another archive box somewhere, and you never resend it. So just keep that in mind as you're sending stuff out there. You gotta be, on cue, send that stuff out. And it's also when we're talking about expectations. If you send the email the same time every time, like yours is a Tuesday newsletter, and every Tuesday you send the nletter at a certain time, people are routines of habit. They like habit. And so if they know every Tuesday after, or let's say hump day, Wednesday, every Wednesday after they get home from work, they know your funny email is always sitting in their inbox the first thing when they get home, and they're interested in that. They're always looking forward to that. If they know it's there and are looking for it, and they actually start looking for your email, it's obviously going to increase your open rates and your click-through rate because they're in the habit of looking for your email at that time. And when it doesn't show up, they're confused or they just don't, maybe won't look at it another day because they weren't looking for it at a particular time, and then it gets pushed below the fold on the other day that they weren't looking for it. So consistency is key as well. In terms of subject line overview, in terms of length, obviously smaller screens, you need to ensure that your subject line fits within the allocated space. Used to be more of a factor when we had smaller resolution phones. Things that were seemingly small in a desktop were a lot bigger on pixel size on your phone. That's kind of before they had the mobile friendly font resizing and stuff like that. So it's kind of a little bit better. Just realize just phones are not as wide as other stuff. So you want to keep it fairly small. So rule of thumb is 30 to 60 characters on a line is probably the best thing you want to do. Other things on the subject line, obviously, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any spammy words in it, right? That's just the number one rule thing. Anything that looks like it's going to be an infomercial or a selling stuff just automatically gets flagged with spam, and that's like the easy, fast way into the inbox or the trash box or the spam. So be careful of any type of salesy type words in the subject, and that's why you see other subjects that kind of use some of the techniques we're going to show here today, where it's not a salesy thing, but all they're trying to do is to get you to open it. And the click will be based on the content inside of the email, but the subject line is trying to get that initial open click there. So the couple general ways before we're going to get into the specific ones, but the couple generic ones are just a blind type, right? It's curiosity based. Where you say you're not alone or I messed up, I'm sorry. You really don't know what the email is about. then you actually have to click on the subject line in order to find out what that is. The other generic type is the direct type, where you either so straight to the point, you just say what the content is, like Google Analytics 101, or you could just say what you're doing, like limited time sale, get your 20% off coupon, right? You're telling them what's in the email. You're direct. So those are kind of the general two types, and there's obviously lots of different variants of that. But blind and direct, you either tell them or you don't tell them, and those are different particular options that you have. In terms of the open rate, the blind obviously gets better open rates because the curiosity thing gets better, open, because they just don't know what it's about. They're going to open it up. But the direct obviously gets better click-through rates. So because even if they're not going to open it up, if you tell them what is in the email, you're not wasting their time. They're like, well, I'm not even interested in that. They're not going to open it. And then the direct one obviously gets better click-through rates, because if they read the title and it says Google Analytics 101, unless they just didn't read it and they're just clicking everyone and it opens up automatically, chances are they're actually interested in Google Analytics. Otherwise, they wouldn't have clicked on the link when your title said, I'm going to teach you about Google Analytics. So there's a better click-through rate on the actual content inside of the email when you get that, because they're theoretically already interested in that content. So if you're trying to analyze maybe the product set or the wording inside of an email to know whether that got them to click, like if they're even interested in that ad type or that product, it may be better to go with something more direct, because you already know that they're interested in that when they open the email, in theory, right? So now you're just kind of gauging which content or which links or products or advertisement of that Google Analytics got them interested enough to click onto your blog or your directory. Whereas the other one, you kind of don't know whether it was just the curiosity that got them in there or if they didn't like the product. So just a couple different options there as you start looking at that. Any questions on that from anybody on just the general overview there, or different options? All right. So first type here is the welcome type. And so a welcome one can just be a straight up welcome, right? Where you say, hey, welcome to blah, blah directory. And then just whatever you want them to do. So, welcome to Directory Toolkit. Get your free consultation today, or whatever that action is. You kind of want to ask them what you want to do. You can do a thank you. Just say, like, if they signed up and you just say thank you, and you can add their business in there. Thank you, John. Thank you for being a customer. Or just say, John, thank you for being a customer. You can provide them with their order details. BD does this in their transactional emails, right? Where you just say, your order of our premium plan is now ready, or welcome to the Directory Toolkit team, right? Whatever you want to do is just telling them about their order. So again, if they're expecting this, you're going to get a high click-through rate on this because they just bought something, right? And so when you say, hey, your order of whatever, you're like, oh, great, goody, here are my details about what I just bought or what I just signed up for. So they're going to open that because they're providing them information on something they just did. You can just give them the next steps, right? You just say, hey, welcome to Directory Toolkit. Sign up, or next, or let's fill out your profile, or whatever that is. Whatever you want to do next is the next steps. So you can add that into the title. So then maybe to say, hey, well, I signed up, and then it says, hey, I now get a free onboarding call, or hey, check out. You could just tell them, hey, check out our other offers. You're like, oh, I didn't even know you had other services. So they want to go find out what those are, and then it's just a simple thing of like asking them to do. Like if you put action required, complete your Directory Toolkit profile to get leads. And so you're like, oh, well, shoot, I want leads. I need to fill out my profile to do that, or whatever that is. And you can basically just tell them that you need them to do something. So you're basically, it's surprising what people do when you just ask them, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this now for you guys. I'm going to go to feedback. feedback.directorytoolkit.com. So if you guys go to feedback.directorytoolkit.com, I have a testimonial feedback thing for my directory, my webinars, or whatever. So here's my ask. If you guys don't mind going to feedback.directorytoolkit.com, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and add in your testimonial. I appreciate it. A little discount for the membership that's on my site there. If you fill it out there, just go ahead and do that if you don't mind. Again, feedback.directorytoolkit.com. So you can do the same thing on your emails, right? Just ask for them to do something. You'd be surprised how many people do it if you just ask for the action. So don't be afraid of doing that. So that's just kind of the welcome type in the email subject line. The other thing that people sometimes do is just emojis, attention grabbers, right? Here's a graph of the top 15 emojis by subject line appearances. I guess somebody did a poll on which ones showed up on there. And here's an average of number on the emails that they polled. I was surprised the registered trademark is on there a lot. I do see that. I'm not sure why people are putting that in emails because they don't want anybody to steal their trademark there, but that gets up there. And obviously the smiley faces or the heart emojis there are very popular. And there's some of the other ones. I just did a poll of mine. This is literally in the last week of the emojis, and you see them down there at the bottom. I literally just copied the emojis from my emails and put them in the presentation here. So it basically, that Experian survey there said that they found 56% of brands using emojis in their subject line saw a higher open rate on their emails. So over half. So I'm sure you guys have gotten those. They obviously catch your eye, right? When you have a laundry list of just text in an email and you have an emoji in there, it catches your eye. It also can alert you to the number of spammy emails you're getting from that person. And then, which has happened to me a couple times where I'm like, I'm removing them. I see they're like half my inbox and I'm like, I didn't get anything out of any of these emails. And so now I just unsubscribe. So you don't want to go that direction and do them all the time. But there's some pretty cool emojis there I've been seeing. I like the rocket one, right? The calendar is always good. The lightning bolt, like for an action, the couple Christmas or holiday season ones there with the snowflake and a Christmas thing. Tacos are popular. Everybody loves tacos. And there's a lot of Fox companies lately, so everybody's sending Foxes and other stuff. So anyway, you can add those into your emails and try to catch their attention. Maybe one at the beginning or one at the end, or both is a good way to do that. And if you have one that's kind of branded, like a brand icon that you can get in there to show for an emoji for your brand, that may be a good way to go. So that people, again, recognition. If you jump around, you use a rocket one time and a checkbox the next, and a Christmas tree the next time, they're not going to know to look for you and the rocket. But every time you have, so I'll just use Rich for an example. You put a little podcast microphone right at the beginning of all your emails. If everybody notices your your microphone icon at the beginning of that right every time, then they can recognize and maybe click on your email just a little bit more. Another thing that works pretty good is bold headers. So you see an example here of this person uses these all the time. Just to kind of show you the difference between those. You notice some of his have the bold new with the semicolon at the beginning of the email, and just by looking down there, they do kind of stand out. Right, if you just look at that a little bit, it's got that big call to action in all caps at the beginning of there. A lot of people just don't want to have your whole title in all caps. It can get a little bit shouty, right? For onboard keyboard shouting is all caps, but the title, the beginning catches your eye. So maybe like new or updated or you're in, maybe a little whatever that little statement is at the beginning of your email. The bold header can be a way to try to grab their attention and realize, you may be able to do, multiple ones of these things, right? When we're showing you the different types, maybe it's an icon, an emoji, and a bold statement. So if you're using a rocket all the time, it's like the rocket, and then it says new. Or maybe it says the word and then the icon. It says new and then the lightning bolt emoji. Something like that. But those do catch your attention and stand out a little bit more compared to other subject lines. One of the other subject types you can do is lesson subject types. So people always love to learn. They love to do new things. So here's just a couple of examples. Like the blank lessons that I learned while building my directory. Let me help you, right? These are kind of ad-lib versions there, but 5 lessons I learned by doubling client onboarding by 200% simply by answering forum posts. Let me show you how to get video testimonials from customers for only $10. So those are just a couple examples. We can do the same thing with reasoning. All right, people want to know why you do here's why we do a webinar every week for free, right? They want to maybe prevent something that they're doing, right, or avoid. So avoid these call to action button mistakes on your landing pages. If it's something that they're interested in doing, they're going to click it. And again, we're down to those. You're telling them what's in there. And if they're interested in that, that if they open the email, they're probably interested in that. Maybe just your pitch wasn't right. They also want to know results, like how we were able to reduce our workload on email replies in 30 minutes or whatever that is. Maybe it's a quick announcement. So just say quick announcement. Our new blog is here. Something like that. Just telling them, hey, here's what we're doing. Just want to shout it out. Just had a new post. A quick announcement. Latest article was just posted today. It's pretty good. Click here. Just have a picture of the article and a link, and just if they're interested, they'll click that and they'll go back to your website and maybe find something else. So again, people love quick hitters too. If they just quick hitter, I'll browse there, maybe bookmark it for later, and they can delete the email. The last thing I think a lot of people want to see is a big diatribe in their email with 5 pages long that they have to read to. And if it's something that they have to read through or take a lot of time to read, they're probably not going to get to it again. So it's going to go to their below the fold. So quick hitting things are also good. Not only do they want to learn from you, they want to learn from others. So maybe you provide somebody else's process or a case study on what somebody else did, or provide proof to them as social proof that what you're telling them to do actually did work. So here's a couple examples, how 5 directories made their first $1,000 by simply changing their top tier pricing. That'd be cool. How about, you just put case study. This is kind of bold, right? The brackets, that's kind of another bold thing. Just put in brackets, so they know, boom, here's my weekly case study or my monthly case study. Case study. Kickstarter campaign makes $15,000 in 28 hours. You can probably look at that and go, wow, well, I want to know what they did because I want that kind of money too. So you kind of pique their interest, but just tell them, hey, I'm not just telling you etherically that this can happen. This is a case study. This person did this in this time. Check it out to see if you can do some of that stuff for your business. And then obviously, just proof stuff proof that these cart abandonment strategies work. So, and then they provide some information in the actual email. So they want to learn from you, but they also want to learn from others to know that you're not just blowing smoke. This is reality. It has worked. It can work for them. And then they're excited about that. Next thing that you can do is provide help, right? People have problems all the time. They want answers to their questions. So here's a couple different options as well. The helping hand, right? So, increasing your website traffic got you down. Can I help? You just say, hey, I know you have this. Is there anything that I can do to help? And so I actually did that for the ebook last night. If anybody got that one from the webinar on the automation series on that first one, I basically did the same thing and said, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? What's the one thing that you need help with your directory? What can I do? And it was just in the email and just asked for that. Well, I don't think it was in the subject line, but you could put that in the email again as well. So like I said, this is not only the subject line, but it could be the content or the internal stuff in the actual message as well, that you do several of these things as well. Maybe you do a recommendation where you say, hey, do this if you want more website traffic. And you're like, well, I want more website traffic. Do this. What is it? And so you're offering help, but you want them to click it. And so you don't really tell them what it is. You want to recommend something. The other one is the opposite, right? Decision support does decision support about what to do or what not to do. So you say, hey, don't start a Facebook group until you read this, right? So we just talked about Facebook groups. People are doing that, and you're like, hey, don't start that until you read this. And you're like, well, I want to know what that is. I'm looking at that, making that decision. What I need to know what that is before I make my decision. And then the last one on here for the help is just, thinking of you kind of stuff. So just said, hey, just wanted to share this video on pricing options with you. And so it looks like it's personalized, like you're providing them some sort of support. And then in return, people, if they get help from you, they want to help you back. So when you say, hey, just wanted to share this video, I'm sure you guys get this all the time. You're like, hey, just reading this. These are some of the articles I've been reading recently. Here you go. Here's some stuff I'm reading or that I'm interested in there. I found it interesting. You're in the same niche, same directory sphere. Maybe you'd be interested in that. And so you're just providing something, some help to them. And so you just announce that in the email, and they want to know what you've done for them and what help that you're just thinking of them for providing the content. The next one is problems. And again, this one usually hits home for most businesses because they've got a problem and they just don't know how to fix it. So there's the how-to type where you just say how to get 2,239 email subscribers in 117 days. That's kind of random numbers, but you get the point. You're basically just telling them how to do that. And so if they want to do that, they're going to click on there and try to find out how to do that themselves. You have the Me Too kind of problem where you're like, are you still struggling to get money from your directory? You just kind of pose the question, and they say, yes, me too. I am struggling on monetizing this thing. How do I do that? And so you're basically getting them to say, me too. You can also provide them solutions. So you could just say, fix your directory traffic problems now. A better way to get website traffic. You could say, fix your email open rates now, that kind of example. They also have an idea, like it's not even, you're not providing a solution, you're just giving them an idea to help solve. So just say, idea to help getting people referring friends to your business. And so again, you're basically telling them, I've got an idea. It's for this. And if you open up the email and click into there, you're going to get to see the idea. And so again, it's all about trying to get them to open the email. The other one is maybe they don't have a problem. Maybe you have to tell them, imagine if you did have the problem. So that's an imagine one where you basically say, hey, imagine having a full year of content planned in advance. You're like, wow, I can't even imagine that one. How would you do that? And so they could click on that and find out. So you present a problem that they don't have or could have, or a reality that they don't have but could have, and trying to get them to click that email. The next thing is you define the problem. And then sometimes you reveal problems that they don't even know existed. So if you said the problem with your Pinterest marketing strategy, they'd be like, oh, I didn't know I had a problem, but I guess maybe I do. The problem with your directory onboarding process, right? And so if that's something that's of interest to you, you didn't think you had a problem, but maybe you want to make sure that you don't have the problem. You want to open the email. So there's some ways for problems that you can do it. How to, me too, solutions, ideas, imagining and defining problems that don't exist. The next one is collections. And so these are always good. Sometimes people, the good thing about these kind of emails is they tend to save them. So if you have somebody who deletes emails other than certain emails that they know they want to keep, or they file nugget away emails that they know has like so much good content in there that they do not want to miss out on that at a later point. It sometimes may not get all the clicks right now, but when they have time, they come back to it and then they open your email and action on that. So collections are really good for being kept, because they're like, oh my goodness, look at all this good content. I cannot, kind of like a good blog where you go there and you're like, the 25 best whatevers, and there's just a lot of resources on the page. And you're like, oh, I don't have time to click through all of these, but this is a really good list. I'm going to bookmark this, or I'm going to come back to this on the weekend when I do have time, and I am going to look at this. These are very good to keep. They're like keepers. So you can have the best of collection, like the best time to send emails, or the 25, if I was sending out for this one, like, and I kind of did, right? In the email, if you guys got that today, like the 13, best subject lines for your email campaign, something like that. The best of is works really good sometimes. And then you can do a roundup where you basically say, it's similar to best of, but you basically say, hey, you basically just say there's a lot of things on there and what it is. So just say that the 10 experts share their one epic roundup post, or five millionaire directory owners share their secrets, right? Something that where you're basically like, we've done the research for you. We've gathered all the stuff. You want to click in here and get the stuff that we found out by talking to these 10 experts or whatever it is. And then the other one is multiple topics. You just basically kind of like before where you just tell them what you're going to tell them. You basically just tell them all the stuff in there about what you're going to do. I did this a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about emails, right? I basically said, what you're missing on email deliverability, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. So you just kind of list of all the stuff that's in there, and you're like, well, I don't know what any of those things are. I want to go ahead and here and click on there. But you basically just tell them the multiple topics they're going to be able to get by opening that email, so they know it's just not that, not only that, not only that. Or just, wow, there's a lot of content in there. They're probably going to be more likely to open it. And then by far one of the most popular categories is curiosity. You guys see this all the time. You're basically trying to it's called the hook kind of email subject lines, right? Where you're just leaving the door open and they just don't know what it is. They're curious. So the first one is just no topic at all. And they just don't know why you're writing them. So they want to find out. If you just say afternoon, Ash, then they're like, what do you want? I know this is from you. I know you are. What do they want? And you're going to open it. That one obviously only works if it's somebody that knows you and you converse with, or is willing to hear what you have to say, but they're just wondering what you're saying. Because you don't give them anything. You're not indirect or direct. You just say, hey, good afternoon. The other one is just do it unknown but open ended. So you'll just say, hey, will you reach your email list growth goal, or a question? Actually, that's a question. I probably should have a question mark there, but and actually, question is further on down there. But just kind of leave it open ended, just to make them ponder the question, or they just don't know what the answer is and they want to open it. You can use drama, and you could say, these always get a lot of clicks, where you say the death of Facebook or something, or the death of direct marketing, or whatever, the death of whatever. Or you can have other drama type things, but you're trying to be dramatic. Like, it's so extreme that people want to know what's up with that, because it's so outrageous or so dramatic in your statement. They want to know what that is. Then other people add mistakes where they're like, hey, I messed up. And that's it. That's all it says is like, hey, I messed up. You're like, oh, what did you mess up? What did you do? People always want to know how other people unfortunately fall on their face sometimes, right? So they want to know what you did. Sometimes you just ask the question, right? How do you grow your YouTube channel? And you're like, I want to know that. I'm gonna click on that. The other one is loss, right? So you just say the most surprising Sumo features you aren't using, or the most surprising options for your brilliant directories that are unused. Something like that. You're basically your fear of missing out, and that's the next one. You're just left out of the equation. So just say, 5,000 people can't be wrong, and you're like, why? And you could probably add the topic there too, right? So just say, 50 top selling directory owners can't be wrong about their email system. And you're like, well, crap, I'm not using an email system. Or what are they using? If they're obviously, popular directories, what are they using that I'm not using? So they kind of feel left out of the equation. You want to find out what you're missing. And then the last one for curiosity is usually revelations. So you say the truth about autoresponders. You're curious to know what the truth is out there. Everybody always wants to know what it is, and you're going to tell them. They just have to click on the email. So curiosity, very, very strong pull in there for getting left out of what they're missing. Next thing is comparison. These are some good subject lines of you versus them. Basically how you're comparing yourself to everybody else, or maybe them versus them, where it's like you're comparing two other things. And you see this all the time where they're comparing two different options. Maybe if you're providing a resource to your particular directory owners, that you're providing a comparison between two products or two websites. So here's a couple examples of how your sales conversion rate compares to everyone else's. So if you have that data and you want to see what everybody else's is, and you're interested to see where you're at, you're going to click on that subject. And the other one is if you just said, hey, money versus % off discount, which one matters, or something like that, where you're going to compare and contrast those. You're going to, if that's a decision point, a decision calculus, a pain kind of, and as you kind of see on some of these have multiple things in them, right? It doesn't have to be restricted to the comparison. Maybe it is a fear of loss. You have to do the comparison. You bold it and say new report. You can kind of combine multiples of these and have the same effect, but that's just one example as well. Urgency is another one that may be overused, but is very, very effective. It's of like urgent, breaking news, important alerts. It's just something to tell them that it's like limited time, and this is definitely a fear of missing out thing. But it's here's an example you're probably seeing a lot of lately, right? With Black Friday is seasonal discounts, Black Friday discounts. You're basically saying, hey, save 25% on shoes this spring, or save 40% off your directory listing this month only. Whatever that seasonal discount is, you're providing that seasonal discount. And the cool thing about this is, again, if you're on a time type thing, if they always know you have a Black Friday sale, or they always know, hey, I'm not going to buy this month. I know they always have a discount at the beginning of the month. I'm not going to shop until then. And then, boom, I'm going to go that day. I have a store in town that does military discounts, like 20% off every Wednesday. The first Wednesday of the month is 20% off. I do shop at that place once in a while, but I definitely don't go unless it's the first Wednesday of the month, because I don't get any discount. And the other day I get 20% off just for breathing, on the first Wednesday. So that's when I go. But they can do the same thing for the directory here for you, just by putting those seasonal sales. The other thing is the limited time. I know Rich, we've been working with him on that for his directory, having some good traction on that. We basically say, hey, 24 hours left, 6 months of our best plan for free, or get 20% discount off for the next 4 hours, or if you have a countdown, etc. So limited time, fear of missing out works, does really good things. The other thing is unexpected. Like, you're not expecting it, so it's not a ritual thing. It's like maybe it's something you don't normally do. You never give coupons out, and all of a sudden you're like, flash sale. Like, I need to have an excess inventory, or I want to finish the season with an extra 50 subscribers. I am 5 away, so for the next 5 people, flash sale, 50% off your directory listing for forever. If you're the next 5 people in the door, go get it. So just flash something unexpected. Then you want urgency, and maybe you kind of combine the unknown with the urgency on this one, and just say, you need to open this right now. I don't even know. I'm not even telling you what it is. You're just like, yes, sir. I'm going to go open that right now. I don't know what it is. I know who you are. Why would you tell me to open this right now? What's in here? Again, you don't want to be too gimmicky on these things. You don't want to be too over dramatic if there's not a real reason that they're opening it right now, and it's just to get them to open it up. I'm sure I get all these emails all the time where after I open it up and I'm like, that's stupid. That's not what that is. But they got me to click the email, right? At least they gave me the chance to get in there to make the sale that I might be interested in there. And I always go back and look at it and go, oh, you did it to me again. I'm not clicking on that next time. And then I go there, click it the next time, I'm like, oh, there it was again. But again, you can't do it too much, and I get annoyed when there's actually not any content of value when you get in there. Then that's when I'm hitting the unsubscribe button, right? And I'm not actually going to use these anymore. So you don't want to go to the extreme, but it can work to get people to click in there. And then the last thing is just the fear of missing out, right? So you can give them a shot across the bow, say, hey, this is going to be a 1 week only sale. Maybe that doesn't get any response. And then right before the sale is over, you send out that last email and you go, last call. Sale ends at the end of today. If you get it today, or it's gone forever. I'm sure you guys have seen that. So last call, urgency emails. are good ones you want. And then the next one is good deals. Everybody loves something free, right? They want to get something for themselves. So free trials always work, right? So try out our top tier plan for yourself. Maybe you want to give it to them for free, like 30 days. You didn't announce it on your website, but you just decided, or you put this in your email. You say, hey, not unannounced sale, not on our website. We're contacting you as a premier, or maybe you can just tell them we've hand selected you out of all of our members to get this deal. And we're going to give you a free 30 days on our top trial. We just need to hear back from you. Hit reply. Freebie. Normally we charge $500 for this advice. You're going to get it free in our new marketing book. Okay. So let me do that for you right here, either live or on the video here. So if you guys go to directorytoolkit.com and you hit /monetize, you're going to get that free book I talked about on the webinar Wednesday yesterday for you. And again, normally I charge $500 for this ebook. Not really, but again, we're just playing this one up for the your subject line there, whatever that is. Normally I charge $50 for the ebook. You're going to get it for free today just by going to that website. So if you guys want to get that 24-page ebook on how to monetize your directory that I talked about in the webinar last night, you can go to directorytoolkit.com/monetize and download that right now or anytime, really. So there you go. So there's an example of there, but you can just say, hey, and again, I talked about this on the webinar last night as well. You can say something's worth more than it is. Don't go so extreme. I hate it when you read stuff and you're like, we have a 2-page ebook which we normally sell for $7.99 a month, and you're going to get it for free. I mean, don't go so crazy extreme that it just doesn't. It's ludicrous amount, right? Ludicrous speed, doesn't even make any sense. But you can create a value there that other people would normally pay, or a value that's reasonable, and then they tell them they're getting it for free. And then the last one here is the personal offer. So again, kind of more of the help realm, but just say, hey, can I help increase your traffic from affiliates? Just give them something that they can get from you. And here's the 13th and final category is reattack. Sometimes these work well after the fact. It's not the first email you do, but it's one that you do later. Where you can, and I have the symbols in here that you can do them all in order. You don't have to do all of these. It's just an example, but you could do multiple, right? You can kind of do different types of reattacks. You see this a lot for sales pages or funnels, and you can set these up for yours directory as well, where you just say, hey, reminder. I send these out for these webinars. So if you signed up, you should get one next week as well, just as a reminder to say, hey, reminder. We got a webinar today at 1:30. Hope to see you there. Here's what we're going to talk about. So I send those out. You send out the I forgot. It's like, oh, hey, I forgot to mention how I get more orders with a whatever strategy, right? The problem with these, sometimes that they're you don't want to overutilize any of these things either, too, because it starts becoming a trend. I have one list I was on, and literally he uses the same script for everything that I was doing with him. And so at first I saw it and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess he forgot to do something. He's just resending it out. And then now every time I get the initial email, like the very next day, he sends out, oh, I forgot to do whatever. It's always, I forgot to do something else. But now it's past the believability stage where you're like, come on, you didn't just forget that. You're just trying to resend another email out to me. Now I am annoyed with you, and I feel like you're not really personable, that you're not just sending out the reminder as yourself. Now I think you're a script robot, and I hate you. So don't go that extreme on any of these that you're just become repetitive. They can be stuff you actually did forget. And so my point on this is, if you forgot to include something in something, just go ahead and throw out the email, just reattack, and just say, oh, I had the wrong date. Or I had the wrong stuff, but you don't want to look like a complete idiot like that one did, where they forget something every single week, and I think they're just incompetent at that point. So don't want to go that extreme. The next one is unfulfillment. So just to tell them, hey, we were going to give away 50 ebooks. We still have some left. We'd like you to get it. Personally, we have 5 left. We want you to get that. So we haven't heard from you. We haven't stopped doing it. You're in line to still get one. Hurry up and get in there before they're all gone. So you've seen all of those before, I'm sure. The other ones, if you have an email marketing thing that can decipher whether you did not do something, you can say, hey, I didn't get a response from you. That must have been a mistake. We're still running the sale. Go ahead and sign up. So that's a way you can do that. And then you can just kind of say, hey, just checking in. You see this a lot where they just, the email subject say, hey, I know you're busy. Is probably unbeknownst, unconsciously, you let this one slip below the fold or into your archive thing and did not respond, although I'm sure you meant to respond. Just checking in on the sale that I gave you last week. So I want to make sure, see if you're still interested. It's still good for the next 3 days, whatever. What you don't want to do is, I get, again, these emails all the time where maybe you did one product and then you didn't actually weren't interested in another topic, and then they send something stupid in the title. It says, just checking in on that offer we talked about last week. And I'm like, I did not talk to you about an offer. Obviously, you know that you didn't talk to me about an offer. That's a terrible. I'm never opening those because I know what I did. Don't tell me you're checking in on something that we talked about last week. Maybe some people click on those, but I at least don't. So make sure it's believable on all these things, obviously, and try to not make it so robotic and automated that they don't think there's a human behind it. And then the last one here is just like one more whatever. So one more thing about our e-commerce strategy. So you may just say, hey, I think you've already read the other stuff, but just one more thing about that that I forgot to mention last time. So that could be another one where if they've already opened the other one, they may open the next one as well. And then obviously inside of that email, you can just say, if you didn't read the other items from last time, here's a link to the previous 3 sessions where we kind of deep dived into the other aspects of this. So those are always good to have them chained, because then if let's say there's a 20% open rate, if you send them 5 emails, right, odds are that they're going to open up one of those. And if they realize that they were actually interested in the other 4 emails and didn't actually open it, if you have all the other linked, segmented out 1 through 5 of the other ones, every time you send out those emails, odds are you're going to grab them for in one of those emails, and then they have direct link content to the rest of the content that they didn't see automatically. So those are the 13 email subject lines that you can use for your directories or emails throughout your directory. So hopefully that helped for some of those people. So we had a couple newbies join there while I was on there, so welcome. Anybody have any questions or comments or any ones that they've used before, any ones they particularly like or I guess don't like that they've seen? I know a couple of you are muted there, so don't worry about undoing your microphone if you want to do that. Let me go into the BD site here real quick, and I'll kind of show you some stuff that you can do. I know, again, we've gone over this before and a little bit today even. A lot of times when we're talking about, hey, sending it to people like reminders of you haven't done something. If you've set up a specific form on your email, like to sign up for a contest or whatever, you can do forms not submitted. And you can even do it for products. So let's say that you were running a sale on, let's say, a product post type. You can actually, maybe change it for their particular membership type and change it from $5 to $2, for example. You can say, hey, for members who have not submitted a product post type, and search for that. Now you have almost a negative search where you're not looking for people that have submitted stuff. You're looking for people that have not submitted a particular form. And then after you do that, you now have members that have not bought a product. I'm going to go to the create a smart list from the current results, and I'm going to call it members with no products, right? If you have not, or a directory toolkit member, have not posted a product for the community to buy or to look at. And then you can go straight to that members with no product smart list. And obviously I only have a few that have stuff on sale right now. So just a handful of those. Looks like 5 of the members, right, have no products. I already made one for no events, right? Nobody's posted an event. So a couple people, more people have not posted an event. Obviously I did that one because it's not an event website really. So nobody's really going to post events. But now you have a direct link to members with no products. So now if I want to send an email, a template out, or I'm sorry, send a newsletter. Well, I'll just go to this one first. Let's say I want to make an email template for the no product email template. I can make a new email template, write in about the stuff, why the products are good, or hey, I'm running a sale, make your email template. And then when you go to the send a newsletter, we've already restricted out those people that have not made a product. I've made my email template with that nice subject line that I talked about today about having a sale and there's a little bit of time left. And so now I'm going to go scroll down to my smart list and I'm going to say members with no podcast. There's my products. Sorry. There's my 51 people. I'm going to pick my no products email template that I just made. And then I'm literally just going to save that email newsletter and send it to so many at a time. And it's ready to go. It'll send it out for them with that template to that smart list. And then I just kind of do my own email marketing through the BD system. So that's one way that you can use that. And I know we've talked about that with a couple of you that are on here today. So any other questions about that? I'll go ahead and look at the chat there for today. I do have a meeting in a few minutes here, so I'm gonna cut it off here in about 5 minutes for the 3:30. I do have a meeting that I have to get to. So any last minute questions from the crowd here before I have to sign off for today? Rich, Jeremiah, Corrine, Frank, anybody else? All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you guys got some good stuff out of there today. This replay will be in the directoryvideos.com. And once I get the video for that, I'll make a post in the directory toolkit with those other subject lines. And I'll probably make an ebook on that eventually as well. So we can just kind of have that content as well for those, so everybody can grab that. But obviously you can rewatch the replay and grab any of those particular items that you want that you can use on the email checklist there. So hopefully you guys got some that you can throw in your hip pocket and add it into your toolkit for your directory. So until next time, we'll sign off today. I hope to see you guys here next week, same time, Thursday at 1:30. Until then, best of luck in your directories and talk to everybody at some point now, later, next week, or some other time. Best of luck to everybody.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Frank.